Hello.
Right,
Hello,
you're
hello,
all...
hello.
Can you hear me at all?
Oh, hang on. I nearly had the film then. No, come on, bring back. Right, 1, 2, 3. Come on, give me pictures. Give me pictures. Can you hear me? Yes,
Yes.
we've got a... Look, hello, you're welcome to my house.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Hi.
And hi. Let's start again because I'm actually recording, and if we don't want to upload, we won't. But it's just too good information not to record. I just want to retrack on something, and then I'll ask you again. You've been getting a lot of hassle and a lot of danger in your life, just unbelievable, off the charts. The advice that people that have been speaking out for decades is, if you're really getting seriously harassed, you're safer to actually speak out about it. It makes you safer. So it's up to you. It's up to you. But so just tell me briefly. You don't have to go into a whole load, but just tell me briefly the family connections that you found out.
Okay.
Just give me a brief thing.
Well, all this nonsense is what makes me curious about the whole thing, because I'm just me and I have no idea what any of this is all about at all.
Yep.
I have no understanding why I was such interest to people to make such an effort to royally and monumentally fuck up my life. Excuse my language. But there's it's just bonkers. It is completely bonkers. And the more I look, the more curious I get. It's the Alice in Wonderland thing, isn't it, really? Excuse any triggers. But yeah, it so is. I always felt like Alice. And yeah, it's curiouser and curiouser, and I just keep digging. So yes, family, it's intriguing. My dad's side, he was Navy, World War Two, end of World War Two. My mum's dad was RAF in World War Two. He was Trinidad, Tobago, Burma, India, plantations, I believe, morale, PT. I do believe he had something to do with decrypting stuff. I don't really know what. I have no idea of military records at the moment, and I can't get any information from my family. So I'm just trying to go through. I'm trying to get his civilian service records from Bournemouth Council, because he served from probably before the war and already after the war till he died in 76. He retired, I think. So he served Bournemouth Education Department for a fair few decades and was a very well liked and respected man, and apparently very humble, got to meet a lot of people. He started a free festival in Bournemouth for the kids, which is one of the things that's the showbiz links, which is how I met so many people when I was little, because they all went, "Oh, you're Ted's granddaughter, come and meet so-and-so," and I was like 4 upwards, and I was always very curious, and so I got to meet ventriloquists with dummies bigger than me, you know, the old wooden scary ones, and that's quite weird, especially when you're a child, and all sorts of people. And looking back on it now, some of it's a little bit, oh my God, you know. Yeah. So, military-wise, my mum has had a great auntie called Rosie who lived in a cottage in West Dean, just past Romsey. Her father, and possibly her mother were conscripted into Portondown. They were retired. Auntie Rosie's a tiny little lady when I met her, lovely, lovely lass. We used to go out, and proper Victorian. They had an elephant foot stand, umbrella stand, and a barometer in the hallway, and it was just an amazing little cottage. I believe it had a doorway in 3 counties, one in each, just Wiltshire, Hampshire, possibly Avon or Somerset borders. And of course they couldn't talk about what they did, but obviously we all kind of know what's going on there now, which is really freaky stuff. Turns out Portondown have been sending their laundry down to Bournemouth Sunlight Laundries, not telling them that it has bioweaponry grade germs on it, and everyone's been getting really ill for the last 3 or 4 years. I wonder why. Yeah. I think my grand's 3 brothers, definitely 2 of them, served in World War II. I'm trying to get the military records. One died in service or shortly afterwards. One, his fiance, him, my granddad, and my gran were bombed in Southampton when they were on leave once. There's a lot of family connections with Southampton, but I'm not quite sure what yet. A lot of the relatives in Kent, which is my mum's side, had some kind of military service in the First World War as well. And I think there was a lady that was possibly an ambulance driver there. There seems to be some Navy service in the families in between wars. And 3 branches seem to point back to Lancashire, which is quite interesting, being that I was kind of born there. Well, I was conceived in Lancashire, and then they moved the boundaries, and it became Greater Manchester. So, yeah, if I get to do a little road trip, this is going to be quite interesting, going around and meeting people and seeing stuff. So, this is whole branches of my family I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And it's mind-blowing to me. I've had the family records for 10 years. And one of the few good things my police liaison officer did for me was say, find some family. If you need to move, find some family. So I decided to go on Ancestry for a free thing. And in the end, I had to pay for the year's worth, but it was worth £119 because when I stay in, I look after myself. I don't go out with idiots or go out to clubs and pubs and stuff. Although I was mostly drinking tea, it's still the temptation, isn't it? Especially around lots of musicians. So I've been pretty much staying in, looking up the family tree, and it's amazing stuff I've found.
Yeah, tell me about if there's any aristocracy or any blue blood lines that you've come across.
Well, this is the intriguing thing. There was a family legend from my dad's side. Now, I don't really know him. I've only met him about 4 times in my from teenagerhood onwards to mid-20s. So I never heard this, but my mum always said there was a Lady Jane who ran away from her family because she wanted to get married to someone else. I took it with a pinch of salt, and I looked it up originally, and I opened an Ancestry account with someone else's help, and I found Lady Jane Askew, and it was linked to loads and loads and loads and loads of different families. Lost that account. Then I found Anne, and I didn't know about Anne because my mum talked about Lady Jane, and she took me to Sudeley Castle to see Lady Jane Grey's painting, and that was where I believe the last Catherine Henry married lived. And it seems that Anne Askew, one of Jane's sisters, and there was also another Jane, which could be Jane Disney. They had a sister Anne. They had 3 or 4 brothers who were all knights. Their father was a knight. The mother was Elizabeth Wattersley. And if I can find the link between that and the Askews I met in Salisbury, who were my dad's aunt and uncle, in the family tree, that'll be an interesting collection. But Anne Askew was the only one that was racked at the Tower of London and burnt at the stake, and they racked her so bad they had to carry her. And apparently it was on the Tudors, but I don't do TV, so I didn't even know until this year. This is all like this year's revelations. It's like mind-blowing.
Wow.
She didn't want to marry a Catholic. She married it because her sister Jane died. She married this time, had children. She ran away, kept going to the church in Lincoln and reading her Bible. And she eventually got arrested and examined, I think in the Guildhall in London. Yeah, a very, very bizarre history. Forgotten hero, really, I suppose, in her own way. She was meant to be the first person in England to get a divorce, and as it turned out, it was Henry. And Henry kind of wanted to involve her in getting rid of, I think, Catherine Parr. He wanted to do another witchcraft trial. Anne Askew's father, before he died, was actually one of the people that tried Anne Boleyn. So it's English history I never learned at school. It's mind-blowing. Why do we not get to
Wow. Wow. Now bring it up to date. Are there any? So you've got. So have you got any other? That's amazing. Do you want to bring it up to date and actually tell people what's going on in Bournemouth now, and what are you ready to disclose that kind of thing, or do you want to have a think about it and maybe do that in part 2?
I've got to work that one through at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. I don't
I
want
have
to.
mobility problems with it because I had such severe head injuries, so I've got to kind of put it into a kind of running order.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So then, I did share. I hope you don't mind. I shared that you are being hounded. Well, you're actually now being threatened with eviction for 900 and something bedroom tax. You're on disability, am I right?
Yes, I meant to be on
So you're
ESA
being
and
hounded for
whatever they
4,000
call
to a
DLA
900.
these days. So
Sorry?
I'm signed off for 12 years with fibromyalgia, and I have bipolar, which is linked to my hormone cycle. I have horrendous problems with my womb. I can no longer have children, which is actually quite a relief because I've had so many miscarriages. And I've been through the ringer with the mental health and physical health section, really. It's just exhausting. So I'm hoping at some point they'll actually get me a hysterectomy because I'm just tired of all this. Meanwhile, I've been trying to move from this house since 1997, 98, when my daughter's father and I split up. And I'm still here, and I'm trapped in a debt trap. Yeah, it's over £960 now, I think. This is the bedroom tax. I don't want to be in this house because I have so many bad memories here, so many things that have happened. I've been beaten up by the police here. I've been beaten up by partners here. I've been robbed. I've been burgled. I've been raped here so many times, and I don't want to be in this house. Every time I try and swap, the debt comes up and they put a possession order on me. I'm not great with money, but I don't have a lot of money. I'm not running around wasting it. I'm just trying to eat and heat, feed myself and my animals, and occasionally buy some clothes, which is usually a charity shop because, quite frankly, they're more ethical. And I don't look like everyone else, and I can't afford to go to most places. Even with my free
How
bus
much?
pass,
How much do you owe? How much do you owe in water charges?
Water, I don't know. It's coming directly out of my benefits. I think it was between £2,000 and £3,000, and that's going back to when my daughter's father was with me. I've just been left in so much debt. Being disabled, debtful anyway. Just not being able to work. You know, it's mind-numbingly annoying. I was a very, very, very good worker. I loved my job. I love nothing better than customer service. My last bosses were amazing at Asda. They kept my job at the photo store open for me for 2.5 years. And when they came round and signed me off, we all sat here and cried and had a cup of tea because they wanted me to go back and manage the place, and I would have loved to do that. It was a dream job, getting paid to work with photography. I've been taking photos since I was 6. That's one of the things my granddad did in the RAF, actually. He took photos for the RAF. He taught my mum, and my mum taught me, and I've had my own camera since I was about 6. And my first camera was my granddad's Kodak box brownie camera with a brown leather case thing with a hard front and was it 126 film? Something like that. And the cartridge cassette films. And yeah, I just love doing that. So getting paid to make someone else's photographs for them was like going around the
Tell me again. So tell me about the eviction notice. When did you get it, and what does it say?
It hasn't got to date yet. I've made a few phone calls yesterday. I can go and see shelter next week. I phoned the people that I was meant to be getting a discretionary housing payment. We've appealed this one. This is the second one. The first one I got. This second one. This is the third appeal now because I'm firstly with all the head injuries and I seem to be numerically dyslexic. I have real problems remembering stuff and the numbers don't make sense. So I have to get someone else to look at it. And I also still don't have the authority over my own benefits. My ex-husband had the authority over my benefits. It took me 3 years to get him off it, and the person who got him off it is still the benefits holder. So I can't even speak to them about my benefits to get it reassessed. But I did pass the last one, and this is affecting my everything now because they're even counting my DLA into this. So I have no idea how I'm going to pay this money if they don't take the appeal. I've just got to get all the receipts from the last 3 months and give them to them and let them do the figures and hold my fingers and hope, because otherwise I'm on
So
the street.
basically, you're in danger of being made homeless.
Yes, and I can't go to any of the homeless agencies to help me now, because they're where I met the last person that abused me, and they've just got off with it. So I've got no hope, mate, because I've been gaslighted all over the place. So, yeah, I really don't know, but I'm doing a house clearance after Easter, getting rid of everything I don't want, I don't need, and that's not mine. And then whatever happens, they're paying for that. The council are paying for that, so they can't charge me for that as well. And just try and get my own stuff to somewhere safe if I can. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do.
They can't make you homeless. This is all part of the harassment.
This is a regular thing. At least once a year they find some reason, or every 18 months, to put a possession order on my house. The last time it was because I found somewhere to swap with. They told him I was a bad debt, and they told me he didn't have DLA when he did. So that was nice. But I made one phone call the other day, and I proved that the lady that served the possession order was lying, because my DWP, discretionary housing payment, has not been turned down. It's still pending receipts and evidence. So hopefully, if they get that, they'll be happy and they can quash it, and then I can actually go ahead, because I've got lots of people that want to swap with my house. I've got about 8 people vying for my property. I've already done one viewing, and if they don't want me in this house, can they please let me get out of this house, swap it, and go to another county where they never have to deal with me again? I've tried saying this to them. Please let me go, help me go, I'll go away, I'll leave you alone, and I'll never bother you. Please get me out of this house, because it's making me ill. But yeah, I've fallen down these stairs so many times. I've got broken things in this house they haven't fixed. I've never had my disability adapted bathroom. There's raw asbestos, mould, damp, and raw plaster in this house. And I was moved here for asthma. I wasn't a broken person when I moved here. I just had asthma, and I was working. In fact, I was working for this council, when I moved here.
Wow.
And this is how they treat people that work for them. Yeah.
No. This is covert harassment. This is not your normal. How many times have you been threatened with eviction?
Sorry, you're breaking up that end. Did you hear me all right though?
No, it's okay. It's okay. How many times have you been threatened with eviction?
I will find all the letters, because I've kept all the paperwork, because I started working at the council making sandwiches and hiding in the kitchen, because I was so shy. I was a very, very, very shy person. Unless I know people, I really don't talk to them. And then when I talk to them, they go, "Oh my God, did you never shut up?" But it's my nerves. It takes me a long time to get used to people. And so I hid in the kitchen and just made sandwiches for a year. And then they said, "Oh, we haven't got a waitress. Could you just go out and serve them, please?" Good headology. And they were all lovely people. So I started taking the sandwiches out that I'd made. And then I got, and I was doing cleaning there in the bar underneath the council building. And then the next year, after we moved here, I became temporary key holder and assistant bar manager on leave and call for the council, which, considering I had keys to the whole council building, is a fairly responsible position. Everything from handing the keys in to locking up, doing the money, cleaning the urinals, whole works. Good bar job, really good people, and the people that taught me there said, "Be very paranoid of our staff. Write everything down. You'll need to. We don't like most of them. Most of them are political positions, and we can't deal with them. That's why we're down here doing our work. Could I have another cup of coffee, please? Or another bottle of red wine?" But no, this was when I moved in here in 1995. I was working for the council, and when I speak to these people and I go in the offices, I say, "You do realise that this is how they'll treat you too?" And you should see the looks on their faces. They're like, "Really?" Like, yeah, they don't care. I also worked for them doing life drawing modelling, which was really cool, but they're terrible at paying. It took 6 weeks to be paid, which is appalling.
Right.
So, yeah. Good fun, though. I mean, great teacher. Absolutely amazing artist taught. I learned more about anatomy and physical structure from working for 2 sessions with Andrew Hope there. And then I did it 3 years of art college, and it was amazing. And because we live near sandbanks, there's a lot of rich retirees that retire early, lovely people to work with, and they're all very, thank you so much for modelling, and they're so humble. And I'm like, wow, thank you, this is brilliant, because I really enjoy it. And plump fluffy cushions and a heater and a nice towel and velvet stuff, and yeah, it went really well. I love doing that. But you can't work for someone that doesn't pay you.
Right.
That's simple. Got to feed myself. So yeah, that didn't last very long. Shame really. And I've been signed off since 2004 now with fibromyalgia.
Wow. Wow. And so
he died
on.
when I was 30, and I believe I've had it since I was a kid.
Okay. Okay. Well, look, the connection's not the best, but it's better than the first time,
No.
isn't it? So let's schedule again. I'm really sorry I had things run into each other today, and I had a bad day as well, but not to worry. Let's do this again tomorrow and see if we can carry on. And I'll message you a little bit in between, you know, because you've got some huge stuff to release. And I want us to do it responsibly, and I want you to. I'm not
It's
pushing
breaking
you.
up so bad. It's robotic.
Yeah, don't worry about it. All right, listen. Thank you for today, and let's do it again tomorrow. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
All right then. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
No,
Thank you.
there's no
Bye.
point carrying on because we can't really hear each other. But thank you.